The first glimpse into the aftermath of George Sr.'s death was given by Georgie Cooper in The Big Bang Theory Season 11, but that also inadvertently spoiled his goal's outcome in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. While the parent series briefly mentioned the tragedy the Cooper family suffered when George Sr. suddenly died, it was young Sheldon that greatly focused on the Coopers' dynamics until George's death and Sheldon's move to Caltech. George Sr. dying in Young Sheldon Season 7, Episode 12 nevertheless gave TBBT's prequel series little time to show how the Coopers adjusted to their life without George. Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, starting months after George Sr.'s death, guaranteed its focus would at least partly be on how Georgie, Missy and Mary fared without the Cooper patriarch. If the sequel's episodes 1 and 2 reintroduced Georgie's family in their new role to audiences, it's Georgie and Mandy's first marriage Season 1, Episode 5, Thanksgiving, that shows how George Sr.'s death really affected the Coopers. From Georgie trying so hard to let them celebrate all together to Mary wishing to cancel the holiday altogether and Missy refusing to feel, Thanksgiving painted a harrowing picture of the Coopers' state. The Big Bang Theory revealed that Georgie failed to keep the Coopers together after George's death. First marriage's focus on Georgie wanting to keep them together adds depth to his TBBT retelling. Georgie's main goal in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage Episode 5 was to let the Coopers celebrate Thanksgiving together, keeping them close on a difficult day, the first Thanksgiving without George Sr., instead of having them face the pain of the holiday alone. He went to great lengths to make it possible, repeatedly asking Mary and Missy, deeply wanting Mary not to be alone on the day. Seeing how united the Coopers were in Young Sheldon and how fractured they are in first marriage nonetheless highlights how Georgie ultimately fails, no matter his best intentions and efforts. While Georgie's success in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage Season 1, Episode 5 is undeniable, his confession in The Big Bang Theory Season 11 proved he didn't keep the Coopers together. This couldn't be more evident in Sheldon's shock to learn Georgie had tried to pick up after Mary and Missy. Indeed, Sheldon was shocked to learn Mary wasn't the rock he remembered, but also that he wasn't able to offer support to his family, because Georgie didn't tell him about it. Coupled with first marriage's portrayal of the Coopers, Georgie's TBBT confession makes their future bleaker. The Coopers will never exist again as a family unit after Young Sheldon. First marriage's painful reality proves the Coopers will never be as united. Young Sheldon often proved how unlike one another the Coopers were, but it also made a point to show their unity never wavering. Instead, George Sr.'s death in Young Sheldon Season 7 hit them where it mattered. Mary pushed to keep everyone together in Young Sheldon, and yet she's the first to leave the other Coopers to themselves in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, agreeing to Missy spending time with her friend and wanting to be alone. Such a future could be anticipated by the Coopers in Big Bang Theory, but it's sadder to see them apart in first marriage. While Mary often appeared to help Sheldon in The Big Bang Theory, Georgie and Missy's relative absence showed how the Coopers weren't close anymore. Although Sheldon's siblings both appeared in TBBT, it was never due to a Coopers reunion, instead only passing by in California or because of a problem prompted by Sheldon's actions. Considering how common the Coopers. The confession. In a recent Young Sheldon episode, Georgie opens up about his insecurities and his reckless approach to life. After yet another impulsive decision that jeopardizes his future, Georgie admits to his sister Missy that he often feels trapped between being responsible for his family and wanting to live life on his terms. It's like I'm either messing things up because I'm too carefree or ruining things because I care too much, he says. This moment of vulnerability is rare for Georgie, whose cocky demeanor usually masks his deeper fears. But it also sheds light on how this internal conflict will play out in his personal life, especially his first marriage, which fans of The Big Bang Theory know ends in divorce. How Georgie's flaws will impact his marriage. Georgie's first marriage, while not explored in detail in The Big Bang Theory, is hinted at as a failure due to his inability to balance work and family. The confession in Young Sheldon provides a clear reason why. Georgie's struggle with responsibility versus freedom will likely lead to emotional unavailability or overcompensation in his marriage. For instance, Georgie might throw himself into work to prove he can provide for his family, just as he took on multiple jobs in Young Sheldon to help Mary after George Sr.'s death. However, this focus on work could cause him to neglect his wife and son, creating a rift that he can't repair. On the flip side, Georgie's fear of missing out on life might lead him to make reckless decisions, such as financial risks or infidelity, further straining his marriage. George Cooper 3, The Fallout of Georgie's Failure. In The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon briefly mentions his nephew, George Cooper 3, as someone who looked up to his uncle while having a strained relationship with his father. This suggests that Georgie's failures as a husband also affected his role as a father. His confession in young Sheldon foreshadows how he might repeat the same mistakes his father, George Sr., made with him. George Sr. was often criticized for prioritizing work and his own needs over his family's emotional well-being. While Georgie resents his father for this, his confession suggests he's already showing signs of the same behavior. This generational cycle of emotional distance and strained relationships could explain why his son ultimately gravitates toward Sheldon, who, despite his quirks, becomes a stable presence in his life. The tragedy of Georgie's arc. What makes Georgie's journey so compelling and heartbreaking is that he genuinely wants to do the right thing. His confession in young Sheldon shows that he's aware of his flaws, but awareness doesn't always translate to change. This makes him a tragic character, caught in a cycle of self-sabotage and unfulfilled potential. However, Georgie's failures aren't just personal, they reflect broader themes about family and responsibility. His struggles mirror the challenges many people face in balancing their ambitions with their relationships. Georgie's story is a reminder that even the best intentions can lead to heartbreak if not paired with self-awareness and growth. A glimmer of hope. Despite his struggles, Georgie's story isn't entirely bleak. By the time we meet him in The Big Bang Theory, he has found success in his career and appears to have learned from some of his past mistakes. While his first marriage ends in divorce, Georgie's journey suggests he may eventually find redemption, both as a father and as a partner. This redemption arc, however, will likely come at a cost. Georgie's confession in young Sheldon hints that he will need to confront his own shortcomings and break the cycle of emotional